Jose Hernandez says, favorite Disney princess? Mine is Tiana from Princess and the Frog. I love self-made women. Well, I never really thought about it, but I don't even know if this would count. But what the heck? Esmeralda, she's hot.
I like Belle. She reads books.
I'm very simple.
Fucking Esmeralda. She dies in the original story. I'm sorry, but I have a notorious hatred for 90% of the Hunchback of Notre Dame movies ever made because I love the ending. It's downer, really downer, but it's like so damn poetic and beautiful. And nobody does it because of how downer it is.
But the animation in the Disney Hunchback of Notre Dame is
spoilers. Everyone dies.
All right.
Sad thing is, they cannot do that in modern world because of how much Catholicism is in that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
and if you read the book,
no,
it's got
they
a lot
could.
of architecture.
Of course they could. You just have to do it and just be like, whatever, we're just doing it and just do it.
People are just afraid to. They'll redo it, Eva, because they'll make all the Christians like insane.
This is what we're gonna do, right?
Oh, they'll redo it poorly. But if somebody would just, why doesn't some kind of organization that's like, hey, we have this worldview collectively, we have a lot of money. Why don't we make a movie and do it the right way and make it good and all that? They could do it. They just choose not to.
Well, it's like if you guys remember the Angels in the Outfield series, there was like 3 or 4 of them.
There were?
They could never release that.
Oh, wait, I only thought there were 2 with Christopher Lloyd.
There was only one.
There's 2 official movies, and then I think there was a TV special. Because I remember as a kid having the bundle.
Yeah, I only knew about the 2 movies. I missed.
That was probably around the era. Oh my gosh! It was probably around the era they started releasing a ton of.
Oh my gosh! It's that kid. Who's that guy? The guy from that exactly. The one. JGL. That's his name. I knew he had like 5 first names. It was like Jeff, Dave,
all right,
John, Steven, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember him. He was in Third Rock from the Sun. I love that comedy.
Oh my God, Christian! They did make a. Someone made a snowboarding chimpanzee movie.
What were those called?
MXP. Dunstan movie. Dunstan goes snowboarding.
Yeah, it says MXP.
Oh yeah, MVP. That's them. Yes. Yeah.
My
valuable primate.
Well, here's one from Jose. I'm not gonna shy away from sharing because it's too damn funny. Frankly, I prefer if they made Frollo into a woman. Can you imagine Hellfire sung by a repressed lesbian?
Oh wow.
Context is the same too. The song still works.
Damn.
That's such a great story. Never done correctly. Damn it.
Yeah,
they milk the living shit out
90% of books adapted into movies like that.
Air Bud. Yeah.
Well, it's like Count of Monte Cristo. You'll never actually find the Count of Monte Cristo with the proper ending.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's actually really good. It's just not the book ending.
We almost watched.
What happened in the book ending?
We ended up watching something else. Quick and the Dead, maybe, but it's on the table out there. I just have never seen it.
Sharon Stone.
It's got the guy that played Jesus in it.
Wait, Sharon Stone's in Quick and the Dead too?
Wasn't she?
In Count of Monte Cristo as well. She was definitely in Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, that's why I said Sharon Stone.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying she's both. Gotcha.
Yeah. How's the original ending go for Count of Monte Cristo?
So okay, well, I don't want to spoil it if Ev hasn't heard
it. Just spoil it. Come on.
It's an old. All right, just spoil the book. Spoiler
for anybody who doesn't want, or anybody who wants to see the movie, or
spoiler for anybody who hasn't heard of this 200-plus-year-old story.
Okay, so in the books, what it is they follow the modern Count of Monte Cristo, the one that they did about 10 years ago, actually follows the book all the way up until the last 5 minutes.
Oh.
So. The dude dies at the end, but the kid feels so betrayed he totally abandons his mother, and the woman feels disgusted with herself, so she actually goes and lives by herself, and he actually wins by getting the ultimate revenge because the other guys can't stand each other.
Oh, I like that ending. I see why they didn't do it because they're all like rah feminism and crap, and they can't have downer endings like that.
But I mean,
like
don't
it.
get me wrong. The one was it.
Wasn't
I don't
bad,
think they've done a quote unquote modern one, but the one they did about 15 years ago was actually really good
I got
and
to see it in
follows the
theaters.
book up until literally the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's the one that we have.
You have it?
Yeah, we own it. We haven't watched it. She's seen it
Okay, yeah.
before, so she was like, "Yeah, you got to watch this movie." Because I grew up, I didn't
Good.
watch movies.
Oh,
Good.
it's brilliant.
Hmm.
It's
Really?
just
It's almost like a modern classic. Like 15 years old. Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up on a lot of these classic movies.
Fine.
Some of them are rough. I'm like, why do people like this? This is
Yeah,
boring.
yeah. This
is
one
a
you'll
long
know
movie.
why people like it.
Mm.
Well,
All right.
some people love Greek tragedies, and they're depressing as hell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
like
Why
the
the
ones
heck
that are
are
just,
we
like,
forced to read Oedipus in high school?
I wasn't.
Oedipus or Oedipus? About a cat.
You see, whenever we didn't really read it. They didn't even give us an abridged. It just explained what it was, and I'm like, you could have just solved all that and just put on the end by the doors, and it would have been a lot more entertaining.
Pass around a joint. There it goes.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't read too much in high school or through school entirely. I was in special education in second grade. I didn't have to be roughly around 8th grade, high school. But I just didn't want to take my SAT tests seriously enough. And later on, I found out that's what kind of put you in the retard classes. Because I'd eventually just start drawing things on those little Scantrons.
Oh, so you were like me. I kind of dropped in and out of the whole special ed class myself.
Yeah.
throughout the
Yeah, I
years.
should have done
It
that.
was legit though. I liked special ed. You get a lot of perks. The people
know, I
in
should've
there
done
were
that.
cool. Everyone was nice,
At
Well,
least
most
they
of
let
them
me
were nice.
bedazzle my own helmet.
right? That's nice. Funny guys in there too. You get 2 teachers. They're pretty laid back usually. And then I got kicked out of high school and I went to a juvenile detention center. That was different.
Oh. I liked how one of them in my class thought though when he was being graded on his test, and when the teacher said, "Well, you got this one wrong," he was like, "Oh no, hand it over. I'll fix it." It's like, I like this guy. Yeah. So Ultimate Kahuna says it's excellent, but that is a long book. Also, Evelyn, don't watch it. I don't want you to shit on any more of my favorite movies.
Well, don't worry. We'll keep Evelyn at bay, whoever she is.
Yeah.
That Evelyn is up to no good.
I think the Ultimate Kahuna has a bad case of autocorrect going on.
I have perfect judgment. Thank you. But
Oh, I was just gonna add, when you're reading books in the United States education system is a miserable experience. They will make you hate reading
yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything has to be over analyzed.
Unless you're in special ed, baby. But you'd still hate reading. You'd still hate reading
Well,
because it's reading.
Yeah, for sure. No,
was-
children don't like to analyze things.
That's what comic
Analysis
books
is
are
definitely
for.
an adult trait. I saw this
Yeah.
Facebook post where it's like a meme showing how they want to bring back evil Disney villains that are just evil, and it showed like Scar, Ursula, Maleficent,
good
stuff like that, and all the comments were general consensus. Like, yeah, these kids movies don't need to have these in-depth villains that need to be analyzed because their characters have all these choices to be made. You know, they're kids. They don't need a
Well, they'll-
deep villain. They just need
they'll-
good and bad. That's the
they'll do
bad
this
guy,
freaking
you
thing.
know?
Welcome,
remember-
Tekkens.
Very
High school
easy.
English. Oh, hey, Tickage. High school English class. They'd throw you in. You'd open the first page of a book. And I mean the very first page. And the teacher is immediately beginning to ask me, what do you feel?
Feel.
Can I
I
read
feel
the
like
end of the
reading
goddamn
more.
I feel like
Leave me
closing
alone.
the
Please and
cover and
thank you?
playing video games.
I just sat down. I just sat down. What do you mean? Let me read.
Do I feel? I've took multiple art appreciation class and never have they asked me that. Well, they technically did, but they put in much more interesting verbiage.
Yeah, no, for sure. The way that we handle the education system is trash. You know, it's you're being taught what to think, not
Public,
how to
my
think.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just what it
I
is.
was in mostly private schools. I was brought up in Christian private schools, but it didn't make it any more fun with the reading at all. I hated reading growing up. I hated reading all through school. I did not start reading until my early 20s.
Yeah,
I still feel like it
started,
comes down to the
boring.
teacher. If
They
you have
didn't
a
know I was
teacher-
dyslexic till
Yeah.
high school, so
I definitely had some good teachers for sure.
And
I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I feel like good
Teachers are
teachers find a
everything.
way to make the curriculum. They figure out a way to still meet your needs and try to make it interesting and still tick the boxes that they have to tick and things like that. So I don't know. I personally, I can definitely think of at least. I mean, you have a lot of teachers, but I can think of 4 or 5 I had. I'm like, you know what, that teacher's actually pretty cool. So it's not everybody in the system, but
No. But the general, like the way the system is ran, like the institution, the American educational system is just shambles. I mean,
It's designed to just churn out a whole bunch of
they're factory schools. They're designed to make
autonomous labor
blue-collar
drones,
workers.
pretty much.
So how do you fix that? Like if you could design the perfect classroom or at least something better, like what changes would you make to try and
I by no means can give you like an overall
Military
like,
school.
Oh yeah, you're young, man. You were
Yeah,
just
well,
there,
that doves with what Jose was asking.
Yeah.
Read out here. Let's read that out for those who are just listening. If you had a gun to your head and were forced to make a school curriculum, what would you do?
Reading, writing, arithmetic, the 3 R's.
Abraham.
science.
Abraham.
Yeah, I think what I would do is something similar: reading, writing, arithmetic, and then I would have specialized courses made for people to kind of enter particular workplaces and prepare them for life. You know, you'd have stuff like real economics and how to do your taxes.
I
shit
think
like
that would
that.
be great.
The yearly
And
stuff
something-
that all adults have to do. What it's
Useful
like
stuff.
being in the damn DMV, and
Right.
you know, just real shit. Tell them what the
Yeah.
government's like. Tell them about all these government facilities.
Yeah.
Public
Yeah,
school
welcome
have
to
shop
DMV.
class.
The problem
Welcome
with
to the
today's
DMV. This is
society-
Shaniqua. She's really pissed.
I mean, the gun's still aimed at me. I could go on.
What were you gonna say, Maji?
Yeah, that one's important. I think with math's an easy one. I feel like, at least for me, like I took calculus
Real
and
math.
pre-calculus and all that stuff, and I was fairly good at it. And I got out of school, and even in college, they had me taking classes that were less difficult than the ones I'd taken in high school. And whenever I first went to buy a car, it's like, what is an interest rate? What does that mean? And it's just stuff you had to figure out. And hopefully you had enough brains in your head from the school you went through that you could kind of figure it out. But the way the language is written is kind of convoluted and confusing, and buying a house is a whole other bag of worms,
Oh yeah.
box of worms. What is it?
Can
Can of worms. It's all a can of worms. And that's the kind of thing I'm like, yeah, it would be cool if they taught us these things. And then taxes, holy cow, that blindsides you. And then
No.
you get into like, you're like 27 and you're like, oh, what's stock
Yeah.
market?
I
Hey,
don't
like
want to put a
cattle?
hole in
What
your
is this?
analogy, but never have I bought in worms in the can. Just saying.
hey,
Usually
They're
it's a
usually in
styrofoam
foam
cup.
containers.
Oh,
yeah.
all right. Fair enough.
have y'all
Oh,
watched
just
the clip
go on.
where the kid they're playing Monopoly and the kid gets his money and the parents are like, all right, now taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Just take it.
And the kid starts crying. Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
in tears at the end because of taxes. He literally let his words come out like, like, why are you crying? Because taxes.
Now I've
Welcome
seen
to the
that.
world,
I've seen
kid.
clips of that done with kids with Halloween candy.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
That's
Tax
Monopoly,
time,
which is
little
like
suckers.
extra special. Yeah.
You got yourself a day job. There's a little bit of tax for that.
The problem is with all of this, it comes down to this: are schools teaching the kids to ask questions?
No.
No,
Of course
Yes.
not.
teach them to sit down, shut up, and
Depending on-
listen.
on the class,
and do as
mine
told.
did.
Well, they make it the scenario makes it hard to ask the question because you're pressurized. There's too much pressure that you don't want to ask the question, that you're going to feel stupid
Good
because
point.
there's that huge group.
Yeah.
I mean, in a one-on-one setting, you're going to ask questions with a teacher, but when you're surrounded by 29 other students, you don't want to feel like you're stupid, especially in high school when it's all about peer pressure, popularity, and you want to fit in and be cool, and you definitely don't want to be the dumb kid that asks questions.
Unless
Well,
you're special ed.
that's not to your advantage, is it?
Thou
That's
shalt
the
not
problem.
question the establishment.
I also had Bible class, and that was one class that you kind of ended up having to ask questions or think about
Oh, yeah.
particular things.
I know. Well, right now we kind of live in a day and age where we don't really ask questions. Period. We assume we know it all, have the answer for it all, and we just rely on
Well-
the experts to feed it to us. And they're just kind of, feeding them the information there.
But that's the problem. I mean, look at our society and how it's crumbling apart. it isn't. I mean, yeah, leftist, rightist, politics, whatever. But it comes down to the very simple thing of common sense. When somebody stops and asks, "Why?"
That's
Yeah,
the
why,
part
how,
we
who,
can't
what,
have.
when,
That's not cool.
Everybody does that
You'll break
eventually.
the
Then they
consensus.
just replace you with the next generation fresh out of high school.
I will say I have a lot of friends that teach, and there's two difficulties that I've heard that they run into where whenever they're teaching, they try to encourage kids to ask questions. And what Trippy said was a really good point about some kids are probably just afraid to speak up, one. And then two, some kids don't want to ask questions. They say, just tell me what I have to do so I can do it and whatever and get back to my phone and my friends or whatever it
give me
is.
my answer.
And so if you're trying to dig that out of people and they don't care, how do you make somebody care who doesn't? And you can try through punishment or this or that, but it's an ongoing, never-ending battle, it seems like.
We had like creative writing, so you had to sort of think about things.
I have a personal experience, and this is a good story, not a bad one, but all going on about asking questions. I know, sorry, I'm going to say something good about humanity. I can't have that. So there was a teacher that I had, and they taught government studies, and this is high school level. And when people first get involved in his class, the first quarter, everybody gets shredded in the first quarter, especially when you're in his AP classes, because he's hard knocks, not in a mean way, but he's very quick answering questions back and forth, throwing questions at you. And my first grade, and I was like dumbfounded because me being so into history and civics, I'm like, I'm failing government studies. This is bad. How do I fix this? Then I started learning that if you went every day in the morning and you read to him your essay that was due at the end of the week, and as long as you interacted with him and answered his questions while you're interacting, he'd give you a passing grade. Even if at the end of the day, your essay may have not been the greatest, wasn't the correct answer, as long as he saw your thought process that you were trying to develop an answer and trying to explain yourself, even if you couldn't explain it on paper, but could verbally explain to him in his classroom that morning, he would give you a passing grade on his essay because he wanted you to ask questions. He wanted you to learn.
Well, there's not even that. You said the two words there, very important words you just said, thought process. There's a process to it. And this process isn't really being taught correctly. If I say the sentence, I think thoughts, it doesn't sound right? That's not a word. That's not a sentence. I think thoughts, I'm missing a word there. I think up thoughts.
Or
well, saying I think up
thoughts
implies that there's actually space in the mind to move for. I mean, we say we understand things. So I have it in my head that I have thoughts come from ideas, which stem from a knowledge, would come from a concept, which has reasons. And you can get underneath those reasons. And then you can't really get below that because you all have faith. There's only one reason for everything, right? That's the source. It's the truth. And that's what you should be standing on, the truth. So from the truth you draw, I have this reason, which has my concept, which makes this idea, which has my knowledge, which I think about. It's a process up and down. Well, that's the way I formed it in my mind. But no one really teaches you how to structure a mind. They don't teach you how to structure a mind. They just give you information about stuff. Well, how does the mind supposed to be structured then?
Yeah, they just teach you to memorize and regurgitate and pretty much.
I just asked you a question. How is the mind supposed to be structured, right?
I can't answer that. That's far more complex than I could begin to articulate.
Yeah, but I'm just implying, like understanding, thinking up thought process, there has to be space.
Well, not only that, but they don't teach cause and effect.
There's a movement to it.
Yeah, cause and effect.
I'll tell you what would help. If you got all the kids that didn't want to be there and put them in one side of the school, and all the kids that did want to be there and go teach them.
I was going to say, I still stand by. I think that it's how do you teach somebody who doesn't want to learn? You can try.
You put them in trade school.
You have to somehow catch.
Hey, kid, you want to learn how to?
Yeah, it's so hard.
You need someone passionate about something. For sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's the hard thing.
That's a good idea.
That's where pop culture comes in.
If the kids
what you do is you say, "Hey, kid, you want to fix cars? Yeah. Well, this takes math, you dumb idiot. Go learn math. Let me show you how."
If you call me a dumb idiot, I imagine you'd be on even the front page of some kind of newspaper somewhere.